Hi everyone, my name is Ruth Atim, again your host of the Gender Tech Podcast, a show that spotlights bold ideas that are shaping Africa's future. Today on the show, I have a very young man. I would call him a Gen Z. A young man who is reimagining Africa's future of work. You're welcome, Mr. Bruno.
Thank you so much, Ruth. It's a pleasure being here with you.
Yes. Could you tell us something about yourself?
It's been a good day, and I'm so excited to be here. My name is Bruno Komruvuga, and I do a lot of things, but in all, I am a development strategist. And I am also the vice curator of the Global Shapers Kampala Hub, which is an initiative of the World Economic Forum. That's briefly about me, and I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Yeah.
And talk about this.
Yeah. So how has it been for you? I know you're a very young and interesting person who is shaping the future of work for the young people. We have young graduates who are joining the job market, and you're here to make it easy for them. How has that been?
Well, my journey hasn't been straight.
Yeah.
I have a fine art background. Where I went to Makerere University for a bachelor's, doing industrial and fine art. But then, long story short, I didn't get to practice that. And I left campus at the time when COVID had come, and there was a lot of disruption on how people were applying for jobs.
Yeah.
And along the way, I got into different spaces, learning a lot of things from different areas like photography, digital marketing, and a bit of 3D. So my journey hasn't been that easy, and eventually we are here trying to solve a problem that bothers all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are now in the era of technology, and the young people need to leverage and embrace technology. How is tech embracing the way the youth and graduates preparing and how is it shaping and preparing them for the future of work in East Africa?
It's very true. There is a lot of disruption, especially with the conversations around AI, at least being on every headline, at least as we're seeing in the media. But technology or AI in specific is it's not just for young people, but because we happen to be the majority. At least if you're talking about the demographics of Uganda, we happen to be the majority. And that's why this conversation is really, it's a must-have. And how it's affecting the future of work or how we are preparing for it, we are looking at it as an extension of what we're already doing. For example, if you're already an engineer, it means now with technology, you're going to be an engineer with technology.
Yeah.
Not just an engineer in theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned technology and then how it's helping the young people prepare for the future of work. You see, from experience, I've interacted with quite a number of youth, and I've also sat on a couple of panels to interview people. And before you sit on a panel, they first send you CVs to review.
Yes.
Like most CVs are very articulate. They have the English, they have everything, but when it comes to speaking to the person behind that CV, it's a different story. What happens? Like what's the mismatch between the CV and the other person who has written it? Like, is there something that either technology is not doing well, or there is something that we do not know about as someone who is preparing young people for the future of work? What's your take on that?
It's an interesting question. But as someone who has been on both ends, at least I've been an employee looking for work, and at least now I'm an employer who gives out, more like a job provider. At least I've gotten to see this firsthand, that back then you used to have a curriculum vitae and it would work for you for 5 years. But now, or at least in the most recent years, this has changed. Well, let's say if you're applying for several jobs, every job needs to you need to customize your CV for this particular role you're applying for. And what this means is, if you're very good with technology, at least, and let's say that opportunity you're applying for is, it's giving you a job description, maybe you could get this into ChatGPT and use it to refine your existing curriculum vitae, CV. So I think that would be like the application of technology for starters. Or if you have more time, you could even go in as far as looking at how you can set AI agents to be able to look at your existing resume and scout opportunities for you abroad or within your networks. So that what you're getting is just something sieved out.
Oh, yeah, that's very interesting. I'd like to know more about that. Like, how can someone out there set up like an AI agent to help them look for the jobs, organize the CV, and help them apply for that particular opportunity?
Well, there's certain tools that I might not be able to get into right now, but the idea behind them is you get them to review your existing. It could be a CV in a PDF, or it could be let's say a LinkedIn profile, and then it's able to always look out for opportunities for you. But then you realize you find most of these things require you to at least have the basic technology to be able to put this together and to match it with your interests and preferences.
Yeah.
But what I can say for now is it's very possible. Yeah. At least it's being made possible nowadays, not back then.
Yeah. I did a bit of research on you, and from my findings, I got to know that you're working on a future-ready project, something that is helping young people. How is that pilot helping the youth develop either soft skills or tech skills for possible employability for 2026?
Well, the idea of this pilot, it goes a long way because it happens to be an area I've worked on for at least 6 years. That's pre-COVID, during COVID, and till date. But it has taken different forms on how, looking at least whenever I would try to read what the market wants, I would come up with something completely different. But what it's doing is it's looking at not only building on Bruno's experience, trying to prepare his fellow young people for work, but also looking at what other people like Bruno are doing or they hope to do in the same area. So it's more like leveling a playground for everyone to not just be a beneficiary, but also contribute to the future that we both want. Because if you are to really create a job market that takes everyone, it means we need to invite everyone to this table that we are designing. So that's how we really got to this. And of course, being a vice curator of the Global Shaper, it had to really rhyme with the thematic areas of the World Economic Forum.
Okay.
So this is how we've been able to brainstorm and get to this as a pilot.
Okay.
To test and then be able to roll out something that is fully baked.
Yeah. And how has that been coming along? I ask this because I'm also a youth, and I'm a young person, and I know that young people always, the things that appeal to them are things that have immediate or quick results. And for this, for the future ready is like you're preparing them now to be able to gain those employability skills for the future. Like for this particular one, have you garnered any, do you have any like people who've signed up, persons who've expressed interest to leverage these skills?
Yes, to some extent, but because it's a pilot and the nature currently is still a bit flexible, the people that we have as beneficiaries are these learners who in this case are the ones that are getting soft skills. And I'm emphasizing it that it's soft skills because at least looking at the progress we're making in our development as a continent, at least we are starting to catch up with technical skills, where at least we are seeing institutes coming up. But then the soft skills is something that we're still lacking, since it's the piece of the puzzle that makes it all, work. So soft skills in this case, in the case of the Future Ready we've explored these in forms of boot camps, more like to test out our assumptions, because we are equally as curious as the other people that are trying to get other young people jobs. We want to learn from the mistakes they've made, or the good practices that they've had, in their efforts to contribute to youth employability. Mm-hmm. I hope that answers.
Yeah. You mentioned soft skills. Would you say that because the youth do not have, I would say, for lack of a better word, I would say enough soft skills, and maybe that has also maybe contributed somehow to them not being able to get jobs, because we have very many graduates who are very skilled, by the way, with good GPAs, others in first class, but like they've been struggling with getting jobs. Could lack of soft skills be a contributor to this? Would you look at it in that aspect?
Yeah, the soft skills not being embraced is it's a big problem, and however good you are, whether you have a first class degree, or whether you have a second upper like I had, it's different to getting an actual paying opportunity. Mm-hmm. It's a puzzle where you have to really put pieces together. Mm-hmm. And within these pieces is now the soft skills, which we believe as the Future Ready pilot, that they're not given the attention they deserve.
Yeah. So maybe I should have asked this earlier on. When you say soft skills, for someone who has never heard of the word soft skills, what exactly do you mean? What are those soft skills that every graduate or every young person out there who is seeking employment should have?
Well, to just give it a bit of background, mm-hmm. When you go to school, in most cases, by default, you get a skill.
Yeah.
Whether you're doing, for example, I did fine art, and the skills we got there involved you being able to use software to edit mm-hmm. Piece videos, and all this paperwork that you have to do. Yeah. But now that is a technical skill. Technical skills could involve photography. They could involve being able to work with figures, accounting. But then now on the other side of the story are other soft skills. These on the side is the technical skills. When we talk about soft skills, these are more like interpersonal skills, because you're not going to operate as an island. You still need to work with people.
Yeah.
And these are the skills that you need to be able to stay and work with people. These could include communication skills, negotiation, problem solving, analytical thinking, and all these others that are coming up. So these are the skills that, I might have gone to art school and you went to maybe med school, mm-hmm. but what we all need to be able to be competitive are the soft skills. You'll go to your medical school and you'll come out as a good doctor, but to be a good doctor, at least you also need to look at the soft skills. Yeah,
you need to know how to speak to your patients. You need to have empathy,
And most importantly, if you're going to get employed, you need to be able to, I'm looking at how I can put this. You need to be able to be seen as a problem solver. Because from what you've learned, the formulas and whatever, if you're coming to now practice and you're doing it under a certain hospital, mm-hmm. they're going to expect you to be able to not just create another kind of work for them,
Yeah.
They want you to be able to, on top of your technical skills, be able to contribute with soft skills.
Yeah.
And, put your tech skills to application.
Yeah, that's right. Because we've seen, when someone gets a job, there is always a job description. And this is now where the soft skills come in play. Let's say you have like 3 descriptions on your JD. So if it's an individual who doesn't have proper soft skills, they would stick to those 3 that are indicated in their contract or whatnot. But like if you, for you to be able to be looked at as an asset either in your organization or in your place of work, you should be able to think out of the box, do other activities that are outside your reach, and do things and relate well with your peers. So I think as young people, those are some of the soft skills that they could emulate, to make work or relations very easy for them in their respective workplaces.
Yeah, maybe I also want to add something on that I think it starts with the awareness. Mm-hmm. You being able to know to be aware that regardless of your line of work, that there are soft skills still apply to your line of work. But at least this awareness means that you have to be able to look at least the top 5 soft skills and put them in the order on how they apply to your line of work. For example, if you're working in areas to do with insurance and banking, or at least if you sell these financial products and instruments, at least if I'm not mistaken, negotiation has to be on top of your soft skills.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm working as an engineer, let's say in a project, in a construction project, the soft skills needed there might be different. We shall still have that same top 5, but my top 5 soft skills might not be your top 5 soft skills. So it starts with that awareness that, regardless of your line of work, at least you need to be aware of the top 5 soft skills that apply to your line of work, at least to thrive or to start on a good note in your career.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, you're telling me that soft skills are a must-have for every youth who intends to be employed by someone.
To some extent, yeah, but because I don't know if we can get to that yet, but I've also wanted to talk about the other side of the story. Mm-hmm. That we don't want to just prepare people for employment, because with all this disruption, at least we're starting to see alternatives to traditional employment from university or an institute. You getting a 9 to 5 or whatever time it is for you, 8 to 6. Those that even work night shift.
Yeah, I think this conversation goes beyond the 9 to 5. It cuts across those who intend to leave after university. They want to start up their own initiatives or their own things going on. Still, the soft skills apply. If you cannot communicate well to the people who are working for you, if you cannot, if you don't know how to also negotiate with them, if you don't know how to relate, still whatever you're trying to build,
will crumble. And actually, still on that, it's like, don't get me wrong, but it's like someone getting into the employment space might somehow manage to survive with less to little to no soft skills, whereas now someone who is in entrepreneurship or whatever you might call it, side hustles or your own business or startup, it's like now that the soft skills have to like really work.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't, I think it's going to be a disaster and you'll be wondering why things don't move for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been in that entrepreneurship space for quite a very long time. And some of the things are self-taught. No one is going to teach you how to speak to people.
And still on that, it's actually these days that honestly, for me, I got to hear about soft skills about a few years ago, maybe like 4. It's like some of these things, at least from my background, these are things you had to grow with or to pick from home. And, you didn't, it was that thing that you got from home, but you can't explain it, but it works for you wherever you go. And then it's later on in life that I'm starting to realize that actually it has a name and it's called soft skills.
Yeah.
Back then it had to be, not so long ago, back then it had to be maybe you're someone either easy to work with or someone who is difficult to work with.
Difficult person.
So if you're easy, if you look at the people that we call easy to work with, naturally they have soft skills. And then those that are difficult, they just don't know, they don't know that they're even soft skills. They're just difficult to work with.
Yeah. Let's call it common sense. They need to have common sense for us to make it easy for us to relate with you.
It's actually thanks to tech that it's now that some of these things are getting names. At least now, because we are pinning names to them. If you don't have them, at least someone can tell you. Maybe work on your negotiation skills. Maybe work on your communication skills. And then that's when you'll go back and be like, but what's this communication skills?
Yeah, and be like, okay, I do speak to you people well. I spoke to so and so well, but like how is structuring your communication? It's not coming out well. Yeah. Sometimes you may communicate, but your communication is offensive. So, and then that also sort of works against you as a young person.
Yeah.
So to sort of take it a notch higher, how do you see AI, digital skills, and emerging technology shaping the employability, or how is it playing in the employability systems in East Africa? Do you see it anywhere in the picture?
Yeah, it's so much in the picture frame.
Yeah,
because now it's no longer about the CGPA. In some extent, it's even not about having a CGPA at all. Where it's now, if you have the tech skills, at least if you've managed to get the tech skills, and then you manage to also get to learn about AI and how it integrates in your work. I think you're going to rule the world. Yeah. Whether as a top leader in your industry, or as an enterprise that they can't overlook. That is if you're going to look at things like AI as tools, not as threats that are coming for your job or for your business. So I think it's very important that we don't underestimate AI, especially how the effects it has on our respective industries, but to look at how we can. I think the word to use is integrate AI within our work, our workflows, and this applies different to it applies different to a specific area you're in. If it's banking, it's different. If it's creative and tech, it's also different. Yeah. So I think AI is one of those things that you can't just generalize that maybe AI is bad because of those that are good. AI is evil for those that are...
I know it has its pros and cons.
So I think the best word is, for now, I think the best word is tool. But then later on, at least looking at predictions, it's likely going to maybe be more like a species on its own, like there we are humans.
Yeah, so AI is good.
Yeah, in a nutshell, if it's used well.
Yeah, right. If it's used well, if it's abused, it can also make you very, I would say, dumb. Like for example, you might be way before AI. We were doing exams, we were doing our courseworks, and in our times we didn't have smartphones. So it was all about going to a library, picking that big encyclopedia, reading through and picking those points that you needed until you come up with like a 10-pager of a coursework. But like right now, challenging a young person to go to a library, like a physical library, and getting them to do research without consulting AI and having them write down their notes. It's heavy. It's a tug of war.
Yeah, I think AI can't replace hard work. And like you've said, because I'm 29 right now, so at least I've tested time without strong technology, and I've seen it come. At least we're the ones that used the button phone to text, and to now being the ones that are using smartphones and extended reality and all these 3D things.
Yeah.
So what we can't replace is that hard work. Yeah. Like you need experience. For AI to really make sense for you, you need to be working on something already. Otherwise, it's just noise.
Yeah.
You're seeing news, you're seeing a new tool coming out.
Yeah.
And yes, it's disaster if you're on the other side of the story. All these things have come and you don't know where to start from.
I know.
Even your grandmother in the village has started using ChatGPT.
Yeah, but yeah. Of course, they are using them. There are also some technology that makes it easier for the people who don't have access to the internet to be able to leverage the online tools. They call it IVR. It's IVR technology. So like they can have like a normal device, these other normal button phones, and then they communicate with the server that relays information that they have requested. So yeah, even our grandmothers are out there in the villages using AI, and all this is has been embedded and has been made possible because people have embraced technology and AI.
Yes.
So how was your days when you were studying? Like if you were to compare then and now, and there's we talk about soft skills and and then AI. Like when you were to compare the two then and now, would you want to go back, let's say 5-6 years back in time, or remain?
I think I would want to maybe go in the future 5 years and be able to get the good stories that are there and bring them to 2025 and share them with everyone. But my experience has on how we're doing things, but I'm not so old. It's just that between 2019 and 2024 and 2025, there has been a lot of disruption, and just bringing an experience from 6 years ago feels like 20 years ago. So how we used to do things there, like you would have to get a job, you would have a CV. In our case, you would have a portfolio. Well, let's say if you're a graphics designer, you'll most likely be hired for your portfolio, not your CV. Yeah. Because your employer or the person giving you an opportunity would want to take you for what you can do. Yeah. From what you've presented. Yeah. Still within the same line that still applies now. But nowadays, depending on the opportunity, but nowadays the due diligence is more. Like someone wants to go as far as looking at your posts on social media to make sure you maybe didn't insult you didn't insult the government somewhere. You didn't insult the government somewhere, and then they're employing you. But all in all, what has not changed has been people want to take people who are going to add to them. If you're getting into the job space, they want to make sure that on top of your CGPA, at least you have that curiosity. You still want to learn. They just want to take you in and grow with you. Yeah. They don't want to take a finished product, which was the case back then. Back then was like 5-6 years ago. At least where you had to physically turn up for an interview. Make sure you're wearing a tie and
those things, all suited up.
Find a panel and...
Yeah, you talked about due diligence and how the digital footprint really plays a big role in people's lives. Recently, I wouldn't say recently, but the US Embassy sent out a memo that before you're given a visa, they first, and I think they always do that, before you get issued a visa, they first scan through your online, your digital footprint, whatever you've been doing online.
Yes.
If it wasn't good and you're going to be looked at it as a threat when you get to the US, then you automatically get denied. So I think that's also a lesson to young people to be careful with what they either share online or,
yes,
whatever post you're interacting with may work for you or against you in future.
Yeah, maybe to add on that, it's actually not just in the employment space, like you want to get a corporate job, because it also applies to if this person who wants to take the route of entrepreneurship, whether it's through a startup or maybe you have an SME, because they're the ones that are common, at least for us here, they're the common ones. Because, for example, if you're raising around for your startup, investors also tend to do this. They want to see in whatever form, in whatever platform they're using, whether it's just Googling, they want to see which other places have you been in. These guys are going to go through. So the guys that we are seeing with startups raising money, like they go through a lot of scanning, not just presenting your idea, but they also want to see this founder. They want to see this CEO of this startup or the manager of this business that is asking for investment, for example. So either way, we are not going to. We just have to embrace this. The new way of life, which is the tech in our work, tech and all these social media platforms. We just need to be ethical while using them, because a wrong move could still come back to you.
Yeah, ethical use of AI is also a very big thing, because if you're abused, it will come back, and it will come back to you. It's not like those days when we would do things and get away with it. Right now, whatever you do, you need to be self-account to yourself, because it's still going to come back and bite you. Yeah. So you're doing quite amazing work with the youth, and of course preparing them for the future of jobs. And by jobs, I don't mean the 9 to 5, also like self-employment. So how do you, out of curiosity, I would like to know what you're working on now. How do you see it influencing employability systems, like by 2030? You mentioned that you'd want to go 5 years into the future and seeing what's happening in there
and bring it back.
Yes, and bring it back. So, like in 5 years, like how would you see what you're working on right now with the youth and preparing them for the job market? How will it influence their employability, like by 2030, pretty much?
Well, I would want to start on what drives our source of inspiration. We have these 3 assumptions that we are working with for the global for this project. And can I also just give the background of the project, because we didn't touch it.
Yeah.
So the project is it's a cross-border cross-hub project that is pioneered by the Global Shapers Kampala hub, with 3 other hubs in East Africa. We have Dar es Salaam, we have Iringa hub, and then we have Kigali hub. And then we're also having the Leos Club as a strategic partner. And then all these, I'm going to call them teams. All these teams are youth. These are people who are below 30. And they're already doing something in the future of work space. Some have had projects like these, and then these projects have been like skilling, placement, or actually looking at supporting youth entrepreneurs. So we've partnered on this project, the 5 of us, to be able to look at how we can plan for the next 5 years, which is 2025 to 2030. So looking at how this ties into the employability sector or the systems, firstly, we've identified that this conversation, it's not just our conversation, but it's also a conversation that needs input of the employers, since they're the ones receiving the talent and the talent itself. Mm-hmm. So how we're doing this is we as partners who are also teams, we've decided to specialize. For example, the Kigali Hub is focusing on a roadmap, which means for the 5 years that you've asked about, we are looking at opening it up, and between now and November, looking at how much ideas can we get in this roadmap, so that at the start of 2026, which is now 4 years to 2030, we want to use those 4 years to plan. We want to use this time to plan for that start, which is after 2026. Mm-hmm. So what is happening is, like I said, Kigali is focusing on the roadmap, while Dar es Salaam is focusing on the curriculum. I'm bringing all these up and hopefully to tie them up at the end. So after the roadmap is now the Kampala Hub, which is focusing on a documentary film.
Yeah.
Now how all these tie together is we are looking at being the ones that are at the forefront of this change, because it involves both employers and the talent itself. We are bringing these beneficiaries on the table to ask them these tough questions. Employers, what don't these people who are getting into the talent pipeline getting? And you guys, what is this thing that you want employers that are receiving you on the other end to notice that you want, so that you two can work together? Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot of thought in there. Maybe I would also want you to tell me how this translates for you, and then maybe I could just chip in later.
Yeah. As a potential employer, how I would come in is to lay my cards on the table, to let you know that for me to be able to offer employment to so and so, I have certain qualities that need to check out. Yes. For example, I want them to either be good timekeepers. I want them to be I don't mind about the physique, but I would want them to also be persons who can communicate easily.
The soft skills.
Yeah, people who can be able to work unsupervised. Because, people have a lot going on. I don't have time to be following you all the time, but I need you to be doing ABCD. I would trust that after you've committed that you're going to deliver, you deliver without me coming to, follow you all the time. So like as employers, it's always good for them. I think it's a very good thing for you to work in I would say in tandem, like work together with the employers, because they are the ones receiving the talent.
Yes.
They are the ones receiving the people that you're working, that you're taking through this future ready pilot project. Yeah. So working with them will help also shape and help you scale better, because you're working with people who are helping you with either resources in terms of either knowledge and the qualities that they need.
Now, on the assumptions, I think I would also want to add how we are phrasing these as questions, because they are the hubs that are contributing to this project. As hubs contributing to this project, we're asking ourselves 3 questions. The first question being, what are these soft skills? These are the questions that are guiding the project, the pilot project at this time. How do the first question being still on soft skills? The first question being, what soft skills are employers asking for?
Yeah.
So, and then this is guiding us now on the boot camps, so the soft skills that they're interested in are the ones that we are embedding within our trainings. And then the second question that we're asking ourselves is, The second question is entrepreneurship worth it? Entrepreneurship in this case, as either an option as an option or an alternative to traditional employment. We're still within the changes and hopefully what we are seeing in the future of work. We are asking ourselves that because we are seeing entrepreneurship being embraced globally, we also want to see how this translates for a young man, let's say in Kampala or in East Africa, and what this means for them. So that's the second question that we're asking in this project. And lastly, the third question is, what can we do? Because we've assumed existing solutions that are still similar to what we are doing are fragmented, where you'll find maybe someone who is trying to place young people as interns. Maybe they are working independently, maybe in some city in Kampala, yet this talent in Kampala is the same talent that could even be taken to other parts of East Africa.
Yeah.
So lastly, the third question is, what can we do for this fragmentation of existing workforce development efforts?
Yeah.
So this ties into what you asked.
Yeah. But again, to reiterate on the question that the response that you gave, is entrepreneurship really worth it? Is
it? Beg your pardon.
Is it worth it? Like, is entrepreneurship really worth it? I would say it takes a lot of work to be an entrepreneur. And from what I've seen, most entrepreneurs are doing it because it's fulfilling for them to be entrepreneurs. Like, they like what they do. They're doing it because they love it. Like, if you're to look at the efforts, I'm speaking from experience. If you look at the efforts that you put into your craft as an entrepreneur vis-a-vis the returns, sometimes there's a huge mismatch. So that goes back to the question: is entrepreneurship really worth it? Yeah.
Well, my take would be with the facts not changing that very few people get into it like successfully. I think it's worth it for those people that are able to crack it.
And for the successful ones, yes.
Yeah, but still, it's on condition that now this is in the context of a young person. I think entrepreneurship pays especially if you've gotten a chance to, like, let's say, get to campus. I think entrepreneurship is worth it if you can get to test employment before getting into entrepreneurship.
It makes you appreciate it more.
Because at the end of it, I think you mentioned how you're a potential employer, or at least how you want to be an employer.
Yeah, of course.
So you can't manage something you've not experienced. And still talking of from experience, before I got to have my own businesses and companies, at least I had a privilege of working for several other people being employers. I worked in the event space as a multimedia designer. I also got a chance to work with in a solar company, like as an employee. And then, like getting through it and appreciating structure in business, at least has made it easy for me to replicate that in my own ventures.
Oh yeah.
Because if it wasn't for that, I think it would have been disaster. Like, if you don't know something and then you're just doing it, like there are some things that don't pain you because you don't know that they exist.
Yeah.
So I think it's worth it on condition.
Oh yes, I think like you mentioned, only someone who has tested for more employment.
It is easier. It's
because the dynamics are different. This one for entrepreneurship, it's you are doing the work. It's how much you're putting in. So what you put in is what you get out. Yeah. But for formal employment, you're settling for that standard fee. You're being given this amount of work. You can't say no because that is what you need to do. So I also think it's good. It's a good thing. I'm not saying it's bad. It's a good thing. But I also feel like sometimes it's it conditions you to think in just one angle, like in one line of school, in a school of thought. Like
which is okay.
Okay, so I'll give it to you. Yeah, it's okay. Again, I work with women a lot, and sometimes I get some people call it a bias, that I like crafting opportunities just for women. You mentioned learners as the learners for the Future Ready project.
Yes.
If you're to look at the number of women vis-a-vis the men who've joined, how is that? Like, in terms of numbers, which ones outweighs the other?
I would want to give a general answer to this, at least as someone who has
for the Future Ready. Like, if you to look at the number of women, I ask this because I know there are certain spaces that my gender doesn't want. I wouldn't say doesn't want, but like they do not look at it as a need to explore. And yet it is something that needs to be inclusively taken on by everyone. Yeah.
Coincidentally, there are more females than males.
Nice.
And it's not just that shortlisted, but it's also in the applications. And I would still want to chip in my experience with reviewing applications and at least being on panels that interview. It's a trend where it's like the ladies they're applying more for these things than us.
Oh, that's a plus for us. Why?
I have no idea. Maybe someone would be able to answer us. Maybe from the I don't know the profession. I'm not getting that right. But maybe someone can be able to tell us why young men like myself are not applying for these things. Maybe we are lazy. I don't want to speak for all of us, but I think it's something I've noticed in my experience. Not just saving out for this pilot, but also for these different opportunities that I've been reviewing applications for.
Wow, that's quite impressive to know that the women also. I was actually, if it was the other way around, well, I wasn't going to be happy.
But it's worrying. I mean, being a guy, I have no problem working with ladies, but then I don't want to be the only man working with ladies. Yeah. And I would want to work with a brother.
Yeah, so I think there is also, you need to do a lot of maybe either sensitization, sensitization, and letting the males also know that, I mean, soft skills, or maybe because it's a soft skill, they have this presumption that it's only ladies supposed to have soft skills. But it cuts across.
Across. I think it cuts across, and depending on the line you're in, at least you can get, at least from what we've talked about, you can understand that maybe in employment, don't get me wrong, there is a possibility of you surviving with less soft skills than in entrepreneurship, especially if you're just starting, you have a small business, you're self-employed. You really need the soft skills. Like, they have to be working, not just, if it's out of 100, at least have 60-70%
of the soft skills. Those are very important.
Of the top 5 soft skills.
What are the top 5?
Well,
I know.
Just like the way we talked about it as a list. At least looking at what the future of jobs report of this year had. The leading ones included analytical thinking, systems thinking. There was technological proficiency. There was creativity and innovation, and somewhere there was communication. But like I said, this applies differently because for them, the report will just sum it up from their surveys, from all the sources they have. It applies differently. you might be applying for an accounting job. How those skills are assessed for that candidate is different from someone who is taking graphics designers, which is more like now how it applies for someone who is looking for a job.
Wow, that's nice. So if you would describe as we come to a close, if you describe the future ready in one sentence, what would it be for you?
In one sentence, future ready pilot or a project to be is a cross-border. I'm now looking for the best words to explain.
Yeah.
Cross-border, youth-led, energetic revolution that's contributing to the future of work in East Africa.
Nice. Very impressive. So maybe a call to action for the youth, the young people who would want to be part of the Future Ready project. Because, I mean, it's a skill that is underlooked. Yes. And yet it's something that is underlooked, and yet it contributes a lot in our daily lives. Yeah.
My call to action is be part of this project. Currently, it's in the pilot phase, but keep on the lookout for it. We're using the hashtag FutureReadyEA on all socials for you to tag your experience, for you to tag your question, and for you to tag your input to make this pilot project a success. What we're doing right now is preparing for what is going to come after 2026. We're asking all the questions prior at this moment, or at the time, by the time you're watching this, I think it will have passed that, but we're looking at between July and November to be able to get as many questions as we can to design a project that works for the youth that are getting into the job market, whether it's in the entrepreneurship space or the employment sector. This project is for you, so embrace it and be part of it. Yes, thank you so much.
So thank you so much, Mr. Bruno. It was a pleasure having you on the Gender Tech podcast and sharing with us your experience as a young change maker who is helping and supporting other youth with employability skills. Because I mean, if we as young people, if we don't do it now, then who is going to do it? The mantle is on us to also help the other young people, hold their hands and take them to the future. Because I mean, tech is here, soft skills are here. We just need to get the young people out of their comfort zones and have them leverage these platforms for their own good, right?
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here and to contribute not just to the conversation, but also to this dream of making sure we have work for everyone.
Exactly. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that brings us to the end of this discussion. I like his parting shots that we need to work to make work available for everyone, because it's really disheartening to see young graduates, people who've studied, people who've excelled in school, not being able to either get jobs or being able to do something for themselves. Thank you so much, our listeners. If you enjoyed this conversation, I would invite you to share with your friends. Invite a fellow young person to listen to this conversation and let them know that soft skills as young people, it's just not something that is here for us to look at. It's something that is here for us to learn, and benefit from. Because I mean, the future of work is here. The future of work. Oh my goodness. I'll have to redo that after the noise.
Yeah, I also noticed I left out a listing about the global shapers following.
Oh yeah.
Following the I just mentioned the hashtag. Now I'll just do them as part as.
She's washing. She's making a cake. She's that's all the project. That is water. He's using cold water.
So you could do the parting. That again, you could redo the parting, but don't forget out that part where you mentioned that we have to make work available for everyone. It was very powerful.
Why keep busy?
How old is the baby? How old does the baby look?
Yeah.
Baby doesn't want to bathe your baby. This seat is for females.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Actually, yeah.
Forgotten something.
They did not do that. No, it started to disrupt us. Yeah.
So parting shots.
Yeah, hold on. Thank you so much, Bruno, for joining us on this very... Thank you so much, Mr. Bruno, for joining us for this very important and timely discussion. I'm very impressed that we have a young person out there who is trying to, look out for other fellow young people, by creating the opportunities for them to thrive, and then also prepare them for work, whether be it the 9 to 5 or their own personal initiatives. Any parting shots for our guests?
Of course, there are parting shots, but I want to thank you for hosting me. Mm-hmm. And I think such spaces they're very important, and especially if we're looking at using them to uplift society, because like I said at the start, the young people are the majority, not just in Uganda, but in Africa at large. We also have to be the ones that are at the forefront of sustainable development.
Yeah.
And gone are the days where we're just beneficiaries. Nowadays, at least it's much easier to contribute to the change that we want to see, whether it's having similar projects like these. Because like I said, we are building this project while also appreciating the efforts that are already existing. But like I said, we want to bring in the uniqueness of solving the fragmentation that is within them. Mm-hmm. So for the young person who is out there, who gets at least a chance to watch this episode, be informed that there are your fellow young people out here also trying to solve the problem of youth unemployment. And since it's a problem that affects everyone, not just in Uganda, Kampala, but also the other parts of East Africa, like Kigali, like Dar es Salaam, like South Africa, and across the continent. So we invite you to be the change makers. And if you're interested in being part of this project, you can check out Global Shapers Kampala Hub on all socials, from X, LinkedIn, or just Google Global Shapers Kampala Hub. You'll be able to see how we are contributing to this conversation. And then to the development partners, we are currently 5 partners on this project, but our dream is to have as many actors contribute to this conversation as possible, because we can create the change that we want to see. And it's going to be upon us, the young people, to be at the forefront. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bruno, for those amazing parting shots. It was a very incredible discussion. I enjoyed the conversation. I'm very impressed that we have a young person who is also looking out for other people, for fellow young people, by creating an initiative that supports them with soft skills. Soft skills are underlooked, and yet they play a very big role in your success as a young person, be it in your own initiative in your own venture, in your own side hustle, or in the 9 to 5 employment. And we are grateful that we have people who are out here drumming the support and sending out that message that young people need to embrace soft skills, because for you to thrive, you need to be able to communicate well. You need to be able to think out of the box. You need to be able to, relate. You have good interpersonal skills and also be creative. So if you enjoyed this conversation as a young person, I would invite you to share with a fellow young person, because it takes a village to build. We build each other, and it takes a community and a village to build something that is working, to build a working system. So share this conversation with your fellow peers. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's called the Gender Tech Podcast, and turn on your notification bell so that you don't miss out on the next episode that is going to be posted soon. Until then, have a good evening.